Sky released this video on their YouTube channel. It's Anthony Joshua reacting to Deontay Wilder's last two knockouts, and he's also talking about what he would do against Deontay Wilder, or at least the Sky interviewer asks him how he would approach that fight. AJ says he wouldn't try to outbox Deontay Wilder, he'd go in there to knock him out. He talks about being the ring general and being smart, but ultimately going in there to do damage. Now, a lot of people are doubting this and they're saying, well, you know, AJ's just talking, and maybe he is. But Anthony Joshua is a smart guy. He understands that he's not as slick as, let's say, a Tyson Fury. He knows that. Therefore, going in there to just try and outbox Deontay Wilder probably ain't going to get the job done. Instead, he's going to have to use his own power. And a lot of people are overlooking this when it comes to Deontay Wilder versus many of the top heavyweights. They're acting as though Wilder doesn't have anything to fear from the opponent. But of course he does. Deontay Wilder's never fought anybody who can hit like Anthony Joshua. He's never fought somebody with that kind of raw power or who's as prolific at landing power punches as AJ is. And AJ's got power in both hands. There's a reason why Deontay Wilder avoided the Klitschko fight when he first became champion. So Wilder's going to have to worry about what's coming back. And AJ understands that. He's going to go out there and try and put something on Wilder to make him hesitant about letting the right hand go. Now, obviously, if AJ was to go out there reckless and engage in a firefight against Deontay Wilder, he will probably come off second best. So is AJ foolish enough to do that? I don't know. I doubt it, but people get crazy ideas in their head and sometimes they run with them. But essentially what he said there about, you know, trying to put some hurting on Deontay Wilder, I can see why he would want to do that. Now, as far as how long the fight will last, does he really believe that he could stop Wilder inside 6 rounds, or is that just bravado? I suspect it's just bravado because right now Anthony Joshua understands that Deontay Wilder appeals to a certain demographic. Young people, people who are not necessarily boxing scholars, people who, as we would say, are on a hype team. The kind of people who Deontay Wilder appeals to. And those people are not interested in listening to somebody sit down and talk intellectually and explain their thought They're not interested in that. They're interested in somebody coming out talking trash, say, I'll knock you out, and this, that. There's a certain demographic who want to hear that kind of talk. Okay, so AJ is, I think, to some extent, catering a little bit to that audience by saying, oh, it wouldn't go 6 rounds. All the macho talk. Yeah, so I think that's an element of it right there. I don't think in his heart of hearts, he truly believes that, oh yeah, I could get Wilder out of there inside 6. I mean, it's possible he's got the power to, but I'm sure he would be going in there looking to fight a technical fight, but use his power as a deterrent against Deontay Wilder. Another thing that AJ says in this particular video is that he unified, well, using 2 unifications, right? Once against Vladimir Klitschko for the vacant WBA, and then against Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker had the WBO at the time. And he's done that inside, 24 fights? Deontay Wilder has had 40-odd fights. He hasn't even been in 1 unification. And that is a very, very valid point. How come, if Deontay Wilder is this one face, one name guy who's not afraid of anybody, how come he's never had a unification? Because he's had opportunities to have unifications. He had an opportunity against Vladimir Klitschko when he first became champion, and he publicly, well, his manager, Shelly Finkel, publicly avoided the fight. That's facts. That's not speculation. That's facts. I know it might make some people cry, but you're going to have to deal with it. That's facts. So this one face, one name guy had an opportunity then, decided to go in a different direction. He had several opportunities to fight AJ, to sign up for that unification, turned them all down. That's facts. You can come up with all kind of different excuses, but if he wanted it so bad, he could be undisputed now. If he'd gone ahead and beaten Anthony Joshua. Imagine how much money Wilder would be making today if he'd taken one of those offers to fight Joshua and became undisputed. So the one face, one name guy, how much of that is real and how much of that is hype? That's the question that Anthony Joshua is essentially asking or implying by saying, look, I've unified inside twice inside 24 fights. Wilder's had 40-odd fights. Where's his unifications at? And once again, he appealed to Deontay Wilder. If you want the one face, one name, one champion, you gotta come see us. So, look, I said after AJ got stopped by Andy Ruiz in the first fight, that I think that would affect AJ's confidence. And I think it will affect Sky's confidence, DAZN's confidence, and Eddie Hearn's confidence in AJ. And as such, I predicted that AJ would stay away from the Deontay Wilder fight after he got beat by Ruiz. Even if he manages to beat Ruiz in a rematch, I predicted he'd stay away from Wilder for a while because his confidence is not the same. And it's not just AJ, but his team. At the moment, Deontay Wilder is tied up anyway, so AJ's got time to, build his confidence back up and all that kind of business. But here's the thing about Anthony Joshua that a lot of particularly American fans and Wilder fans in the UK don't understand. Anthony Joshua is an extremely confident, self-assured character. He always has been. Now, why do I say this? In fact, AJ might be more confident than I'm giving him credit for, because I'm saying that in the wake of the Ruiz loss, he would have lost a hell of a lot of confidence to the point that he might not want fights that he previously did want. Perhaps would allow himself to be steered away from some of those fights that he was previously steered towards. But if you look at Anthony Joshua's history as an amateur as well as a pro, it shows you that this guy is willing to gamble. This guy is willing to jump in at the deep end when he still hasn't learned to swim properly. That's his history. If you look at Anthony Joshua's amateur background, this is AJ in, I think it's the semifinals of the World Championships as an amateur fighting Roberto Camarel. This is not the Olympics, people. Don't get it twisted. The Olympics was a year later. This is the World Championships. Now, by this time, AJ had only had, 20-something amateur fights? He was going up against guys like Camarel, who had hundreds of fights. AJ was literally a novice. Yet this guy fought with tremendous confidence. He was away from home in Azerbaijan, and he's fighting Camarel like he doesn't even care about his experience and his credentials. This was the number one ranked super heavyweight in the world, I believe, at the time. AJ was thrown in at the deep end. I mean, you reckon you can put most amateurs who have only had, 25, 26 fights, whatever it was, in with Camarel, and they're going to fight with this much confidence and win? This wasn't some hometown decision, people. This was in the World Championships in Azerbaijan. AJ was a foreign fighter. He wasn't even a big name at this stage in the UK. Nobody knew Anthony Joshua back then. I was one of the few people talking about him. Went over there, thrown in at the deep end, and he showed he could swim. Beat Camarel. He made it to the final against Mezidov. Here, Mezidov is from Azerbaijan. The Azerbaijan president was watching at ringside. So this is a hostile situation for a novice AJ in the World Championships back in 2011. And he only lost this fight by 1 point in this guy's backyard in front of his president. And AJ lost by 1 point. So for him to go into the deep end consistently in the amateurs and be as successful as he was, what does that tell you about the kind of personality he is? In Anthony Joshua's 16th pro fight, he won a world title. So he was fighting undefeated heavyweights for world titles in his 16th fight. Deontay Wilder, by contrast, in his 16th fight, he fought a guy called Reggie Penner. Now, Reggie Penner is a 6-10 journeyman. That's who Deontay Wilder fought in his 16th fight when AJ was fighting undefeated guys for world titles. Then we can look at Anthony Joshua's 17th fight. That was against Dominic Breazeale, who was unbeaten at the time, an Olympian. Deontay Wilder, in his 17th fight, fought a guy called Damon Reed. Who on earth is Damon Reed? Let's have a look. At the time, Damon Reed was 46-15. So when AJ's fighting Breazeale, an Olympian who was 17-0, whatever he was, in his 17th fight, Wilder was fighting Damon Reed. Damon Reed, there you go, 46-15. Wilder didn't fight Breazeale until, Wilder's 42nd fight. So AJ manages to fight Breazeale in like his 17th fight. Wilder doesn't manage to fight Breazeale until his 42nd fight. Just to give you an example of how differently these guys were moved. Eric Molina, AJ fought him in his 18th fight. Deontay Wilder fought Eric Molina in his 34th fight. So AJ is fighting people inside his first 20 fights that Deontay didn't fight until he was over 30 fights deep. Okay, so who's being moved faster here? Anthony Joshua fought Vladimir Klitschko in his 19th fight. Who did Deontay Wilder fight in his 19th fight? He fought Daniel Coulter. Who on earth is Daniel Coulter? That's a great question, people. Who on earth is he? Daniel Coulter is some random Mexican journeyman, 20-8 with 1 draw. This is him. Doesn't even have his date of birth on his BoxRec record here. God knows how old he is. He looks very old in this picture. That's who Deontay Wilder was fighting. When AJ was taking on people like Klitschko, Wilder was fighting Daniel Coulter at that stage of his career, 18 fights deep. Then, of course, when Anthony Joshua was fighting Joseph Parker in the unification, his 21st fight, Deontay Wilder was fighting who? Marlon Hayes in his 21st fight. Who on earth is Marlon Hayes? Let's have a look. Marlon Hayes, 23-10 when Deontay... So you can see here, people, AJ was very, very ambitious early on in his pro career, fighting a much higher level of opposition than Deontay Wilder was fighting when he had the same number of fights. This is a fearless individual. Now, I know I use the word fearless a bit loosely. Most people have got a certain degree of fear. But when you look at his actions, Anthony Joshua, the way he's thrown himself in at the deep end, amateur and pro, early on in his career, this is clearly a person who likes to gamble. When he sparred Tyson Fury, when AJ was just an ABA champion. So ABA champion in the UK is the equivalent to like Golden Gloves in the United States. AJ sparred Fury at that point when Fury was professional, British champion, and AJ had no respect. And this is coming from Fury himself. Fury said that he was in the gym and, he got offered to spar this amateur Anthony Joshua, who was just ABA champion at the time. Fury's a professional, British champion. And he's thinking, okay, I'll have a little move around with the amateur, take it easy on him. He said AJ came flying out at the start of the first round and attacked him, like some kind of wild animal. These are the things Tyson Fury said. That AJ wasn't intimidated. He wasn't impressed. None of that. He went straight flying in and attacked Tyson Fury. So again, think about somebody with that kind of mentality. This is not someone who's afraid of challenges or getting in there against big punchers. He's been doing that since the beginning. So going back to this interview right here where he's talking about, he wants to fight Wilder and this, that, and the other. He's been wanting to fight Wilder for years. Yeah, AJ's a guy who likes to challenge himself. That's what the facts show us. He wasn't fighting journeyman in his 18th, 19th fight. The Damon Reeds and all these kind of people. No, that's what Wilder was doing. AJ was fighting championship level fighters and unifying against Parker in his 21st fight when Wilder was fighting donuts and cream puffs in his 21st. So don't get the personality types confused here, people. Understand that AJ has been a warrior from day dot. Just because he doesn't come out with all the braggadocious trash talk and talk about catching bodies, that's just talk. You can have all the intentions you want and say this, that, and the other outside of the ring. Inside the ring, it's just you and the other guy with a pair of gloves on. Your talk is not going to help you in that situation there. The only thing that's going to help you is what you can do with your fists. Yeah, all of the brash talk and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and appealing to a certain demographic, it's all done. Now we'll see what you can do with your actual fists. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about this particular video. The stuff AJ says. AJ, again, he's a very confident character. Anybody who doesn't believe that, just go look at his history, amateur and pro, and what he's achieved in such a short space of time. Because it will tell you that he is a confident guy. Anyway, I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.